Hello, good morning. Welcome to Stampin' Chat. I'm just going to check that I'm live in the right place. Check on my view. Well, hopefully somebody will be stopping by to say hello. So we are back to kind of normal routine. School holidays are over. So that was 2 weeks gone really quickly. It's been a busy couple of weeks actually, lot going on. Been away a bit. Good morning. Oh, now I'm not sure how to, Lisa, would that be? How to pronounce your name? I will say Lisa. If I am wrong, please forgive me and correct me. But if it is Lisa, what a lovely way to spell your name. Where are you coming from, Lisa? So, sunny Gloucestershire this morning. It is beautiful out there. I don't know what the temperature is at the moment, but the sun is out. The air is still really cool, so it's quite deceiving. When you look out, you could almost think you could have shorts and a t-shirt on. Definitely not for me. I'm a cold-bodied person and I like the warmth, but it's beautiful out there today. So if you're out and about and you're local, take an extra layer, I would, because the air is cold and it's been so windy as well. I had Eva yesterday afternoon. She's got chicken pox, bless her. So Eva's middle grandchild, and it was so windy. All the blossom was blowing off the trees in the garden, and it was blowing onto the patio at the end of the house by the snug, and it was like snow. It was so pretty, but so sad that it's blowing off the trees. Oh, you are from Stourbridge in the West Midlands, not so far from here then. I think that's about an hour maybe from here. I'm sure I've been to Stourbridge. I'm sure I've done a Stampin' Up party there for a customer. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Good morning, Mrs. Forbes. How are you doing? It's chilly and windy there too. Yeah, I think it's kind of, it's doing the rounds. It's windy everywhere at the moment. So yeah, we were away racing on Saturday and Sunday actually. The whole weekend I went with Jason to Snetterton and it was super windy. Of course, a lot of these race circuits are built on aerodromes. I took my long puffer jacket and I'm thankful that I took it because I looked at the weather forecast before we went and it said like sunny, cloudy, good kind of temperatures, sort of 15 degrees in the day, but the wind was biting, really windy. So anyway, enough waffle. I'm glad I'm pronouncing your name correctly. That's good. So Janet, Derek's broken his hip and he's in hospital. Oh, I am so sorry to hear that. He's having his operation now. Oh, sending you lots of hugs. I hope that he has a speedy recovery. I know there's not a lot you can do with the broken hip. I think the advice is to get back up on it as soon as possible. I'm pretty sure. But, oh, bless you. So you're going to be back and forth to the hospital, sending you hugs all the way across the miles. Right, I'm going to turn this down. So as promised, if you saw my post earlier, I'm going to be using the cup of tea again. No more teacups in sight. I'm going to be using some of the flowers and elements, but I'm being brave and using one of the brighter in colours, Sweet Sorbet. And you'll see what I've teamed it with. If you saw my Facebook post, you would have seen the colour. So anyway, let's turn you down and get rolling. Excuse the palm of the hand. Oh, my stand's gone all wobbly. Get you lined up, zoomed in, and hopefully it's flipped my screen. I do not know why it does that because I'm not asking it to do that. I'm trying to zoom in. You know when you pinch the screen to zoom, sometimes it turns my camera around. I do not know why. If you are hopping on, please do say hello. It's lovely to know who's joining. I am slightly obsessed with this stamp set. Right, are we? Might have to zoom out a little bit. Let's see how we go. My MacBook has done that usual, thrown me out of the page, so reading comments is going to be challenging as usual. Good morning, Margaret. Good morning, Michelle. Good evening. Margaret, where are you from? Are you across the miles? Good morning, Mary. Good evening. View is looking not too bad, actually. Okay, I hope you are all doing well. I hope you're having a bit of bright weather, whether you're at the end of your day. Hope you've had a good day. So as you can see, as I said, I'm slightly obsessed with this stamp set, and I've been playing with it quite a lot because we're using it at my catalogue launch next month. Time is ticking away. You don't have long left now. You've got until the 2nd of May on the end of the day to order anything that's on the last chance list. So you need to head over and check out. I had a look this morning. There's still quite a lot of stuff available, and a lot of stamp sets that are like 50% off. So don't forget, do head over there. I am placing an order on Thursday. So if you're local and you don't want to pay the full shipping fee, you can order direct with me, and you can either collect from me or I can post it to you at cost. So cup of tea. Now, as I was saying last week, and on a couple of blog posts and Instagram posts that I've done, when you get a stamp set like this, you look at it and straight away you just see that teacup, and you're kind of drawn to that and think, don't know what I'm going to do with that. How many cards can I make with a teacup on it? Which, believe me, you could make hundreds. But sometimes, you know, we feel a bit challenged and a bit determined by those images that kind of jump out first. I love the dies that go with this. I love that we've got duplicates of the smaller ones. And I talked to you last week about lining up these flower dies, and the lovely Belle made a comment about there are 3 petals that are kind of very similar. Which are those 3? They're kind of together in a little bunch. They're kind of like rounded off nicely. And I have learnt that I can now see where to put it, but I've marked my dies, and I'm going to show you I've marked my stamp as well. So let us put that to one side. What else are we using? Colour combo of the day. We've got Coastal Cabana, Crumb Cake, Sweet Sorbet, which is the new in colour. Oh, the frog got me then. And we've got Flirty Flamingo. So these are the remaining in colours. They are growing on me rapidly. Parakeet Party I'm struggling with, but I am loving kind of the other blue purpley shades. So those are the remaining in colours. I am using, on my second card, I think, the Painted Texture embossing folder. Love our embossing folders. We do have quite a lot retiring. So do head over and take a look at those. And I feel the need that I don't have enough now. I need to order more embossing folders. So I'm waiting for that catalogue to go live on the 3rd. My order will be going through, and I will be grabbing myself some new embossing folders. Oops, making a mess now. I'm pulling out. How scary is that? I know a lot of you will love this. You love the brights. So I'm going to be using some of the new in colour pattern paper, and today I'm focusing on the Sweet Sorbet, which is quite red, but I kind of love it. It's, how would I describe it? To me, it's kind of a, this won't make sense to you at all, but it's a subtle red, which, is there ever such a thing? But to me, it's kind of subtle. So you like the new in colours, Lisa? Yeah, I'm struggling. If you followed me before, you know that I do love my subtles. So what I'm trying to do is pull in these colours, not using them all together, but teaming them with other colours that kind of work for me, that make me happy. Because if I'm happy with my products that I'm using and my colours, then I feel my creative flow is going to be better. Right, let's move that away. Bring in my kits. Excuse the hand. I'm going to do a little bit of heat embossing. Right, let's just move that closer. I'm still a bit sniffly. I am convinced it must be hay fever. Still got the frog in the throat, as you can probably tell. So basic white base today. And we are measuring 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. Again, I've popped Alfie in the house this morning because Sophie went off early to go and get Archie, and she's still living with us at the moment. She's staying with us because Alex is doing their bathroom and they're having their garden landscaped, but he's working, doing jobs in between as well, so it's not coming together as speedy as Sophie would like. So she's gone off to get Archie and grab some work from home. So I thought I'd better leave Alfie in the house, because if she pulls up on the drive, he'll get excited and he'll be running up and down the stairs. So I've left him over there today, so you won't hear him clopping around, clip-clopping. Next layer is Crumb Cake, one of my favourites. I feel Crumb Cake kind of brings everything down to earth. I don't know about you. Any of these kind of neutral colours like smoky slate, grey granite, Sahara sand, they're kind of my favourites for when I'm adding a pop of colour. These kind of tone it down for me. So this will be my usual 3 3/4 by 5 3/8. And I just feel by using that, I always used to do 3 7/8 by 5 1/2, but it doesn't leave much of the base card showing. So I find that this layer just gives a good bit of base showing behind. Right, next I've got a piece of basic white, and I'm looking at it, it looks longer than my original. I think it's just the eye that is deceiving me. And this measures 2 3/4, which is that magic number. Remember, it's a third of a sheet of cardstock. Excuse the hands, I've been inking already this morning. I have washed them, but you know, those darker colours, they do kind of stay there until you've had a couple of washes. So 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. So that's my next layer going on. Before I go any further, let's do some stamping. Bring in my sponge mat and a fresh side of scrap grid paper. Just checking on. Margaret, you're born in Lincolnshire. A little bit away from here then. Okay, what do I need first? So I'm going to start with Sweet Sorbet. Let's lay these out up here and then I can see what I've got. And I'm also going to be using Flirty Flamingo. This is old style ink pad. I'm gradually working my way through and replacing with the new style, because as I've mentioned before, I like them all looking pretty together, and the old style ink pads don't fit in the new Stampin' storage. Right, scrap of paper, and I've pulled out from the set. So what I'm using today, which is what I used last week, and that's this cute little flower. I really love this. You have got these flowers here, which if I show you, they're all on one stamp. And they're kind of designed to sit over this foliage. Haven't even inked those up yet. You can see what I've inked up, because anything that is pink or red has been used because our inks have stained them. Also, from another new sneak peek set, the Framed Occasions, which I love, I've pulled out this little trio of dots because it's great on our backgrounds. So alongside the teacup dies, of course, would I be on here without using these dies? You see them every week, but I think that's a good advert that they are very, very usable. And then with this little flower, hopefully you can see, I've created a little dot on my stamp, and I've done that with just a Sharpie pen, and I've used a gold one, but if you've got black or anything, so it's just one of these, and so it's a permanent marker. Now I did find that it rubbed off of my die, and I've had to re-put it on my dies. So what I'm going to do is actually start with paler colour first, because I don't know what that is on there as well, But when I re-ink, that will probably come out. I'll probably blot that out with a tissue and then re-ink it. So I'm just stamping 2 flowers and I'm keeping that dot at the top. I'm just going to clean that quickly in my chamois, which rocks the table. And then switch to the sweet sorbet. This flower is just so sweet. Now there's not a huge difference in these 2 colours. It looks they probably look the same on screen. So I stamped those with the little dot facing up, and then what I tend to do is put a little arrow like that, which is indicating to me that my dot is at the top. And then on my dies, let's bring in the plates, move that out of the way, put things back where they belong, bring in those 2, and then I can already see what Belle was saying. These 3 petals are kind of like quite uniform and close together, whereas these are more spread out, so I can already see that it's going to line up. But can you see I've put dots on them? So I've stamped them down, I've figured out which way they fit, and then I've put a dot on them with my Sharpie pen so that immediately I know which way they need to sit. Let's grab some washi tape on top of my die. So last week I was turning and twizzling, trying to get them to line up, but I found this much quicker. So at the weekend, we went away racing. To let me know what you got up to at the weekend. I think the weather here was good. I think it was a bit windy here as well. So we went off on Friday. I've got a really bendy top plate as well, so do remember to continually turn your plate. And Mary gave a really good tip actually, that when you finished using your die cutting machine for the day, which I have been doing, I take my clear plates, I mean not with dies in, I put them underneath this stack, and then I run it into my machine so that it kind of squashes it flat and encourages it flat. And I have noticed that makes a big difference. So thank you for that tip, Mary. Great tip. We all love tips. So yeah, we went off on Friday, mid to late afternoon to Snetterton. Long drive. It's about a 4-hour drive to the racetrack circuit even. Can you see how that dot has like worn off a bit? But I took with me this stamp set, and I took the dies and some inks. Always take a selection of things while I'm going away. And I was preparing things for my catalogue launch, but I took my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and stupidly I forgot to take washi tape. So I had a bit of a challenge, but I spent a lot of the day on Saturday die cutting out bits and pieces. So love that little mini cutting machine. And as I said, I did add, I don't know if it's the washi tape that maybe pulls off that. I mean, it is a permanent marker pen, it should stay on there. But yeah, by the end of the weekend, the markings were gone from the flowers where I had die cut so many. But it was a good job done. Always like to utilise my time. So you may well see the difference now they are cut out. The difference in colour. See, the Flirty Flamingo looks very peachy compared to the Sweet Sorbet. Right, what else do we need? Let's bring the mat back in. Apart from the teacups, I think this is my most favourite stamp in the set. You know I love a bit of foliage. And any stamp set that has foliage in, you're going to get so much use out of. So for my foliage, I'm going to use Coastal Cabana, which isn't green. Foliage doesn't have to be green. It's my card. I can choose what colour I want my foliage to be. It really doesn't matter, but it kind of works really well. Even though this is like a bluey, oceany colour. I'm going to have 2 of these. I think I've got a bit of fluff on there. Might have to do another. It'll be okay. Can you just see there's that bit of fluff that was stuck on there? I'm not going to worry about that because the bottom part of these will be hidden. Close that one up. Trim these off. I wish there were 2 of this die. We always want more, don't we? They give us a lot and then we just ask for more. Oops, better put them on top of there. So that is this die here, which is beautiful. It lines up lovely. So yeah, so we went off Friday afternoon and we didn't get back until about 8:30 on Sunday. And it's funny because I was the one who was really tired. Jason did all the driving, he did the racing. He did all the loading up of his racing car and everything. And then I was the one that was exhausted by the end of the weekend. Definitely putting it down to age at the minute, I think. I think I'm going through something related to age because I'm ready for bed at like 8:30 at night, which is it's quite sad. But I'm tired. I wake early, that's my problem. I've been waking at about 5 most mornings. And then not going back to sleep because the alarm goes off at 6. So, and then it's quite a long day, isn't it? And if you're on the go, I'm not really a sit-down person. Find it hard to sit and relax. I'm one of those that feel there's always something to be done. Not very good at taking time out and chilling. Although I had quite a chilled weekend, so. Right, what is next? Oh, we've got a little bit of heat embossing to do. Let's do that first and then we can start assembling. Right, let's chop off a piece because it will be easier. We need our mat again. Of course, with photopolymer, you probably know, but stamping with a mat or a spongy surface will just help you get a clearer, better image. So, just checking comments. If you're just joining, please do say hello. Right, what have we got here? So, I've pulled out a couple of Versamarks. This one looks very loved. That is still usable. That's quite clean, really. But if we compare it to my newest one, which looks much, much cleaner, which I think we'll use today. Yeah, with the other one, obviously you buy the re-inker, so just to keep it well re-inked. So what I'm going to do, I've got my gold embossing powder. I've got my embossing buddy. So first thing we do is just tap on and spread over the embossing buddy powder. And what that does, it just creates less static on this piece of paper. So, you know, we have like, without knowing, we have oils and grease on our fingers. That would then, when we put the powder might stick to that. Hello, Helen. How are you doing, my lovely? Hope you are well. Morning, Ellie. You're hopping on late. You've been running errands. Children back at school. Hope you had a nice time away. Oh, hello, Belle. You're hopping in as well. You're lurking and listening while doing some jobs. I know. We have to multitask, don't we? don't have time to just sit around and watch, which is sad. So I'm going to ink up my thank you, stamp it down onto this basic white piece. You may just well see that there. Bring in some powder, give it a good coating, and then tap it off. And that embossing buddy means that I can see a little speckle, but we don't get a lot of like stray embossing powder. Move that out of the way because we do not want to blow that anywhere. I'm going to pop the lid onto here, and then we just do a bit of heat embossing. So I'm just going to turn it on and let it warm up. It's always a good idea before you start heating, have a little peek down the end of your heat tool and start heating once it's kind of red, the elements are red inside. So good morning, Anthea, how are you doing? Long time no see speak. So I can see that, I don't know if you can see, but I can see that it's red inside there. So let's just heat this. Hopefully you'll be able to see it turn, and hopefully you can still hear me. To be careful of the fingers, I'm going to turn that around because I don't want to burn my fingers. So there we go. Turn off my tool, which I always struggle. The button on it's really stiff. Let's have a quick look, let that cool down a moment. You're going to be doing some spring cleaning in the kitchen, Helen. That sounds good. I love a bit of spring cleaning. Although my Hoover has been sat upstairs waiting for me to Hoover upstairs, and I still haven't done it. And on Friday we had Dave, the guy, round to, we're updating all our security here, so have new cameras put in and stuff. And he had to go upstairs, and I was like, please don't look at the tumbleweed rolling around up there. With wooden floors, it just, I don't know where the dust comes from. I just don't know. So yeah, I could do with a really good spring clean. And the thing is, here upstairs we've got a couple of like full height rooms, vaulted ceilings. So getting cobwebs is a bit of a challenge. It involves a very, very big ladder that we have to try and get up the stairway, which isn't easy because a normal standard ladder is just, it's not worth it. It's not tall enough. So bit of a challenge, but do love a bit of a spring clean. So the only thing I hate doing is cleaning my windows. And I have quite a few, but I'm not very good at doing it. When I do them, I feel they always look awful after. And I use like these special eco cleaning cloths, but they never look clean and it's frustrating. I think I need to just get someone to come in and do them properly. So, Belle, you haven't embossed in gold for ages. Isn't it pretty? Love this style of like script font as well. Gold is probably my most one that I go to. I was clear embossing on here, not last week, maybe the week before. Love a bit of clear embossing. Right, what I'm going to do with this, let's cut this out. So no hexagons today, which is a bit of a shock to you, I know, but I'm still using the same set. And what I want to do, thought I'd go with circles today. So I'm going to cut that one out with a circle, but then I'm also going to cut that one out in a moment, and that one. So let's find a little scrap. There, you will do nicely. Bit of washi tape, because I don't want this to move now that I've embossed it, and it's turned out beautifully. No like little speckles. So if you don't have an embossing buddy, you could make yourself one from a pair of tights, put a bit of like corn flour in it or something, tie it up, and it will do the job. But I'm sure if you searched online, you would find one. I'm sad we don't have circle punches anymore, but the dies are just as useful Not as quick, but just as useful. That fits perfectly in there. Belle, you like your white embossing. I love a bit of white embossing too. And I love stamping with our white ink onto darker colours as well. Love that with the craft ink. Right, what do I need to do now? Focus, Kerry, focus. Get your brain into gear. So next, I'm going to create myself a little polo. Let's just have a look. Lisa, you get so much dust from the log burner. Do not talk to me about dust from the log burner. It is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. We've got 2 log burners here. One at one end of the house, one at the other. And to be honest, we had the chimney swept last October and we haven't even used the large one. So we've got a big log burner at this end of the house. I'm saying at this end of the house because I'm at this end of the house. Obviously, I'm not in the house, those of you that know where I am, but it like the lounge area, when you go in the house, we've got a huge big log burner there. But then as you go down through the kitchen and into the snug, we've got a small log burner because it's all flagstone floors down there and it does get chilly. So that little log burner is really easy to light, gets a lot of use, but boy, the dust. And I don't know about you, Lisa, but we've got one of those little fans that you sit on top. That's a game changer. If you've got a log burner and you don't have one of those little fans that sit on top, you need to get one, because what we do, obviously the fire is fixed. It's not one of those fancy things where you can move it. So I've just created like a polo. So obviously the heat from the fire kind of goes down into the snug, but not directed at the kitchen. So by having that little, pop those away, having that little fan, that blows hot air towards the kitchen. So it works really, really well. But then of course it's blowing dust down at that end as well. So it's a nightmare. And me with my OCD, I have to sometimes just overlook it, because otherwise I would be dusting daily when the fires are on. So have to kind of just walk by it and pretend it's not there. So we've got lots of lovely elements going on here. You've got a top fan, Ellie. Yeah, they're great. I think they're only about £20, something like that, £20–30. What a difference it makes. And also last summer, end of the year, Sophie's boyfriend, Alex, he's a plumber, he put in some plinth heaters into our kitchen. Like they're like heaters that are fixed into like the boards at the bottom of the cupboards. And they have been a godsend as well, because obviously with flagstone floors and walls that are like 3 foot deep, it gets chilly down there. So, and I don't like the cold. So having a bit of warmth down by your feet is really, really good. Right, this layer here, I think it was 2 3/4 by 4.5. Lisa, you think the fans are great as well. They are, definitely. And then what I'm going to do is measure up. So I'm going to pop it down landscape and just make a little mark with a pencil at 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to draw a line diagonally. Oh, my ruler isn't very straight. It's had a lot of use. I think I need a new one. Can you see how wibbly and wobbly that is? So you've got plinth heaters as well. Yeah, they've made such a difference. Such a difference. So what I'm going to do is just pop that in my trimmer. So I measured up 3/4 of an inch and I've drawn a line diagonally across to that bottom corner. And I'm just going to snip that off in my trimmer, just to create a little edge like that. And from my pack of DSP, I've cut a strip of the sweet sorbet. And I should mention that the use of the Flirty Flamingo came from Belle, my team member. So thank you for inspiring me, Belle, to team up the Flirty Flamingo with the Sweet Sorbet. I think they work beautifully together. So that was where this colour combo sort of started from. I've already created a load of other stuff using it, but when I thought, what colour shall I use for my live today? I used Orchid Oasis and Starry Sky last week, so I wanted to use really wanted to use the Sweet Sorbet. So what I'm going to do is pop a bit of glue. We'll pop it on this edge here. So, oh, that came out faster than I wanted it to. We'll just spread it down a bit so it doesn't go everywhere. I'm going to line it up with my grid paper and then follow the line across the top, which should help me get it somewhat straight. Just hold that down. I'm going to have to blow my nose. Huge apologies. Must be hay fever. And as I told you last week, I'm rubbish at taking tablets, so I haven't even entertained. It did get better. It's not as, I'm going to cut it from the reverse. I don't feel as sniffy as I was. Right, have I gone right to the edge? Yeah. Don't throw that bit away. That would make a cute kind of flag at the top of a card. There's always a use, isn't there? There's always a use. Quick drink. Right, what do I want to do first? Let's lay this down. So I'm going to start by adding this little layer to my crumb cake piece. So what have you all been up to? Ellie, I know you've had a busy time away, out cycling and doing stuff. We were quite blessed with weather, weren't we, for half term, which is good. Right, the next thing I've got is a little strip of Flirty Flamingo. Now you can find this from your scrap box. I did cut it at 2 3/4 because that was the length I wanted, but usually 3/4 of an inch. That's quite an average kind of scrap piece that I will have, usually longer in my scrap bag. Envelope. You've seen my scrap envelopes. I know I embarrassed myself by showing you how many scraps I had of soft succulent. Yeah, I've got a huge box that they're all stood up in with all of my scrappy bits that do get used. Might have to do a challenge of using up your scraps. So I've just mounted that onto my base. Nice even border all the way around. Not getting any comments coming through, but maybe you're not talking, which is fine. You're watching. Right, what I'm going to do is layer up this little piece. So we're going to pop on some mini dimensionals. Birds are singing their heads off out there. Singing away. The other thing I want to do as well, can't pick anything up, is I want a little circle, that little one that I die cut. I want that down there, so I'm going to pop it in its place because my dimensional there is not going to allow me to push it underneath once I've stuck this. So if I pop this where I want it, which is going to be roughly about there, I think. And then what I can do, take a little scrap, put a bit of Tombow on, lift that bit up and add a bit of glue to the back of it. And then it's stuck in place. Ellie, you were very lucky with the weather, yeah. You've unpacked and repacked for Jacob. Oh, he's at the National Dwarf Games. That's this weekend. Oh, well, wish him good luck from me. He's a little trooper. I hope he gets lots of medals. Got 12 events to take part in. Goodness me. Oh, I bet he's super excited about that. I know you all look forward to going. Right, what I want to do next is take my polo that I created and may lay it down first. I think I'll lay it down first. Little teeny weeny bit of Tombow. Don't need it all the way round. Just a couple of dots. And we'll say it's going there. Okay, so just pop that one down. This one is spare, so what I should have done maybe is cut this one first and then used this to heat emboss. It just would have been a bit more challenging, heat embossing on a smaller piece, but that will not get thrown away. It will get used for something else. Right, next I'm going to pop on my greeting, and I just want dimensionals behind the top part, because it's going to hover over this layer which is already raised on dimensionals. Yeah, so we had, was a busy weekend. Jason had 3 races, which is unusual. He normally gets 2 races in a qualifying. No, 2 qualifying and 2 races. But he had 3 races, which is good. And he had 2 wins and a second. So he did really well. Had some car problems in the second race. His gear cable snapped, so he was stuck in 4th gear. So it meant he had to go around the whole circuit in 4th gear, which wasn't a bad gear to be stuck in. I mean, if he'd have been stuck in 2nd, he wouldn't have been able to go very fast. So at least he was able to like keep up speed, but it wasn't enough speed to let him win the race. So hello Kay, how are you doing? No problem about being late, you can catch the replay. So we are using the cup of tea because it's my new favourite. I have got other new stamps I've been playing with, but I'm drawn to it. And we've got a colour combo, so bringing in some of the Sweet Sorbet, teaming it with Flirty Flamingo, as inspired by Belle, and then we've got some Coastal Cabana and some Crumb Cake. So my leaves, as I've said, are Coastal Cabana, which is kind of a, you know, it's a very kind of oceany blue, but they're going to be acting as green today, so I'm not worried about that in the slightest. I think when we're crafters, we can use any colours to create things. So leaves don't have to be green. So I'm going to pop one up here and just tuck it in behind. So I've just popped a mini dimensional at the top. So you like the colour choice? Yeah, I like it as well. I've been doing quite a few things with it already. I'm just going to tuck that one under there like that. Now you can see it's moving around a bit. Maybe a dot of Tombow at the bottom would just secure that in place and stop it kind of twizzling around. So yeah, quite a fresh colour combo for me. I do love it, but I've kind of like toned it down a bit with the Crumb Cake. Right, what is next? Flowers. So we've got 2 in Sweet Sorbet, 2 in Flirty Flamingo. My favourite way to bring life to my flowers is with my Take Your Pick tool. It does hurt your hand a little, but especially when you're doing hundreds like I was doing at the weekend. Very time consuming. I was tempted to get my scissors out and fussy cut some of these flowers, but I was like, no, stick with it. My mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine was working wonders for me. So I'm just going to pop a dot of blue where I want my flowers, and we'll put a sorbet this side along with a Flirty Flamingo. You like a grey leaf, Belle? Yeah, love a leaf in any colour, even blue. I think I've done blue leaves, which some people will like turn their nose at, but anything goes. You like using smoky slate for foliage? Yeah, I love smoky slate. Such a great neutral. Just goes with everything, doesn't it? Tempted to anchor this one down a bit, but so 2 more dots. We'll pop Sweet Sorbet there and Flirty Flamingo there. Let's just make sure they are not going anywhere. little bit of like splat stamping. You can't really call this a splat because they're dots, but I just felt it needed something else. I'm going to take my crumb cake and gently tap. I just want ink on my stamp. I do not want ink on my block like this one because it will get everywhere. I'm just going to gently tap and then pop a couple of these dots down, down onto my layer. Right, I'm going to pull that close to me and see if I can just go over the top of that. Great thing about photopolymer, if you do miss, you can line it back in. You wouldn't know there that it only half stamped. Thank you, Margaret, you like the design. Night of Navy 2, are we talking foliage, Kay? Or are we talking as like a background, like to earth things? But yeah, I've been pulling out Night of Navy because we've got the Starry Sky, which is quite a purplyish blue. Oh, love these three together. But because I don't have the cardstock, which I have ordered the 12 by 12 now, I've been using the Night of Navy with it. Right, to finish off, we are going to use some of the gold twine. This is the Simply Elegant trim. So these two come together in a pack. I love it, but it's quite curly. You know, look at the spring on here. So doing this on camera could be a bit of a challenge. So what I want to do is create a double bow. So I want to find the length of what I want for one bow first. Oh, I've lost the end. I don't normally struggle with tying bows, but some materials like this, they're quite hard. So I know that's roughly the amount I need for one bow. So if I pull it back open, create a fold there, and then cut off the length and cut it into two. I'm going to need my glue dots. I've got two lengths roughly the same. I'm just going to try and take a little bit of the curl away. That does go through you a bit when you do that on your nails, and attempt to tie a double bow. I may have to have like 2 or 3 goes because it's so slippery. Pulling that bit through there when you have rubbish nails is slightly challenging. Can't get it. I think I've got it. Don't let go, Kerry, don't let go. Looks very lopsided, but it will be fine once we start pulling. So I'm going to hold my loops. Sorry, I wasn't really in shot then. Pull really tight, pinch in the middle, and then pull the tails. So pinch in the middle and pull the tails of the opposite side. It's not as long as I wanted it, but that's okay. Let's just make this one a bit longer. Definitely not as long as I wanted. I'll just even them up. Oh, that made a nice mess. Make them a little bit shorter. Take a glue dot. Roll it up. And I'm going to pop it round about there. And then just pop on that bow. And then I've got a whole host. Look at all of these retiring bits and pieces that I need to use up. So I had 2 packs of these and I thought, gold, these will work lovely. You can just hear Sophie pulling up on the drive now. So good opportunity to use these up. These work beautifully in these little flowers. They're kind of just the right size. I've just had a delivery as well and had some rhinestones and some pearls arrive. because I just feel I'm going to be using a lot of them with this stamp set. So you're impressed with my bow tying. It wasn't the best, and because of that dodgy nail there, I kind of can't grip anything. That's the nail that splits up all of the time. One final thing. These are brushed brass, but they look very gold. So these are in the mini catalogue. I will say the metallic pearls, they are still available on the last chance list, and they're reduced. I think I checked this morning or yesterday. I think they've gone down to about £5.50. How many do you get in there? 242 to be precise. So loads and loads. They go such a long way. Now I just want a little butterfly. I think we'll have a small one. Will it come off? Love the butterflies. I'm pretty sure they are carrying over. So yeah, love this colour combo. Thank you, Belle, for the inspiration for using the Flirty Flamingo. I think it teams really, really well with the Sweet Sorbet. So that's the first one done. Is my original, pretty much the same, just longer bow, which I think looks better. But I wanted to show you, like I keep using the hexagons all the time, I just wanted to show you how the circles are just as impressive. Right, let's put that ink away because I'm not using it. Right, next card. Of course, same colours, because that's what we do in this studio. We get something out and then we create multiple different things with it once something is inked up. So we've got a Crumb Cake base, usual standard size for me of 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. Yeah, I thought I'd seen the butterflies in the new catalogue. Hey, they're gorgeous, aren't they? You can see I've not used a great deal of them. I'm kind of sparing with them, but they're beautiful. Stunning. And of course they're self-adhesive. So right, what else have we got in here? We've got a front layer, which will be 3 3/4 by 5 3/8. I've got 2 strips of the In Colour DSP, and they measure 1 inch by 3 inches, and I've cut them at 3 because obviously the paper is 6 inches, so it means I get 2 nice equal sizes that are usable. And then I've got another layer here of basic white, which measures 2 1/4 by 3 1/2 and a bit. 3 1/2 and a bit, it should be 3 1/2. Obviously you can see I'm very precise with my cutting. I think I'm going to blame it on rulers and cutting tools though. Don't you think? I've got a ruler that doesn't measure the same as this ruler. They're all different, and I have a ruler in my caddy here, a ruler behind me on my island, and I'm sure they don't all measure the same distances. Come on, somebody agree with me on that one. It's not just my incompetence. Right, what should we do first? Let's start with this layer here. So I'm going to move everything out of the way. I'm going to pull in my scrap piece of grid paper, and I've got my water painter again, and I haven't cleaned this since I used it, so okay, don't be daft. You're not being rude by not saying hello to everyone. It's totally fine. We're all here to chat with each other. There's no pressure to let everybody know you're here. It's lovely that you're all here. That's the main thing. And I know you all like to chat with each other because we do have regulars that stop by. So what I've done, where's my crumb cake? Now, if you've got, you might not have a crumb cake ink pad. If you haven't, why not? Because this is just such a staple. You will find so much use for this. But if you've got the re-inker, you can do exactly the same thing. You could take a block, put a couple of drops of re-inker on, and then add a bit of water. And what I'm going to do today is give my crumb cake a squeeze. Now it is harder to squeeze these new style compact ink pads. It's hard to get a decent amount of ink in the lid. I'm going to open up here. Hope you can see. And just, come on, add, that was a lot of water, but it'll be all good. Add a bit of water, just give that a wipe so it doesn't drip where I don't want it to. And let's peel off the lid. Mix that up. That's quite watery. I'm hoping it's not too watery, but I don't want a massive, I'm not doing a massive effect on here. Let's just make sure that is clean. And I'm just going to load it up and add some splattage on here. So just a gentle tap. It's very watery. Be careful when it's watery, otherwise it will kind of blot onto your paper and make a bit of a mess. Now, I've got very good at hitting this really hard and finding it like that was silly. That does not go on there. That's how the inside of my lid got very dirty last time. Quick way to resolve that. Get the wet wipe in and give it a clean, because we don't want all ink over the end of our putty. Yeah, I found splattage all over my MacBook, about 2 foot across my table. So just a subtle kind of speckle. So I quite like that. So it's quite watery. Obviously, you could use a deeper colour. It would be much more intense. And then we're going to pop this, I think that's dry, straight down onto our base. Just get that end off. So you know the end of the Tombow likes to seal over when you've not used it for a few minutes. Just lay that down onto our base. And then this layer here, I'm going to emboss with my painted texture. As I said, I've had to shift out loads of embossing folders that are retiring, and I feel like I don't have enough. Is that wrong to say that? So plate number 4 goes on top of here because it's like a 3D textured, and I'll just run that through. I'm sounding kind of ungrateful saying I don't have enough embossing folders, but I think they're so valuable for what they cost. They give us so much that I just feel I need some more. How beautiful is that? Love it. Don't think it matters which way it goes down. But what I'm going to do before I stick it on, I want to add on my 2 pieces of DSP. So I'm going to pop a bit of Tombow there, line that up with a line, and don't know if there's any particular measurement I'm looking for here, but I'm just following this line and this line. It doesn't look very straight though. Maybe my pattern paper isn't very straight. Going back to that I'm not very competent at the cutting. I do a lot of cutting though. Let's just wing this one and guesstimate that they're going to be the same. Sometimes holding your paper in a different orientation can help you to get it straighter. Sometimes I find when I'm holding it that way, it doesn't look as straight as when I hold it that way. So we've got those popped down on there. Now we can lay that straight down onto our base card. So plenty of Tombow on there because that embossing folder is pretty textured. And I'm just going to lay that straight down into the middle. As good as the eye can tell. Like that. What else do I need? I'm looking in my little bowl of goodness. Got a little bowl of goodness going on here. All things teacup. I'm going to have just one of those. Got some flowers that I did earlier. Of course, this card is like the same but different than the previous one. I need to do another bit of heat embossing though. I didn't. Should have done that ahead of the game, but I didn't. So we all love to see a bit of heat embossing. So let's bring this back in and remind ourselves. Belle, you think my cutting is good? You've had the benefit of my cutting skills. Thank you. I know we're good at being hard on ourselves, aren't we? We are good at that. Right, let's find the powder. But first, the most important step when we are heat embossing is give that a good ink. It does sound nice and fresh and clean, that ink pad. So that is Versamark. Just stamp that down. Trying to eliminate touching this piece too much. Hopefully you can just see the shimmer there. Let's move that ink. We don't want to tip any powder on it. So I showed you, I think last week before, the powders in the catalogue. They come in sets. That's pretty clean. Can you see there's like a tiny little speckle up there, but I'm not going to worry about that. It's not really going to show. But if I hadn't have used the embossing buddy, there would probably have been lots of, just get my heat tool warming up, lots of static on there. So I want to hold it at the furthest part away from the bit we're heating, because I haven't given myself much paper and don't want to burn the fingers. The heat that comes out of this tool is incredible. Oh, just the joy it brings. How quick did that heat? Now the challenge to turn the heat tool off. Oh my goodness, the switch. Need to get a bit of WD-40 on it or something. I mean, it's not like we're lacking. I'm above a workshop. Must be something down there to help me out. Stunning. Our powders are very good. Okay, let's cut that one out. And I need to do, oops, the brain. The brain definitely didn't engage then, did it? Bit of washi tape. Use that one in a moment. I feel like I've wasted a bit of cardstock here, but didn't want to burn the fingers. I know it sounds weird, but I'm going to run that through that way and try and flatten this plate a little. Oh, and it moved, of course. That's because I was faffing with the bendy plate. Bear with me. It all fell apart. And I want that one again. Cut another. Oops. Nearly stabbed myself then. Oh, scissors are so sharp. They stay sharp for a very long time. They are definitely the best pair of scissors. If you are having struggles with your fussy cutting, you really should look at the scissors you're using. They make a massive, massive difference. I'm sure a lot of you will agree. having a pair of scissors that are really sharp on the point makes all the difference. Right, stay still. Yeah, our scissors are great. They're not over expensive, and they're a tool that you use all the time, and they'll be with you. I've got several pairs of scissors here, probably about 6 or 7 for classes and things, and I've had them for years and years. And you know, we talk about the oh, Alfie hair, where do they come from? My dog doesn't, I say my dog, Alfie, bless him, he doesn't really molt, but obviously hairs do come out and they get in the air, and I pick something up and then it's gross, isn't it? Sorry for everybody watching, but yeah, before I had a dog, I thought anything like that was gross, but you just kind of get used to it. So yeah, the adhesive remover, if you get, you know, when you're cutting into your dimensionals and you get like adhesive stuck on, you just very carefully use that, or probably a rubber. I mean, I've only got a really tiny bit of rubber here, that would work. So you'd have to be very careful with your fingers because they are incredibly sharp, but that will just help them. If you think, oh, my scissors aren't working very well, it's probably because there's adhesive stuck on there. So, I mean, really, we shouldn't be using our proper crafting scissors for cutting foam pads. You should have like an older pair that you don't mind getting a bit damaged, or keeping a pair just for the adhesives. So, yeah, the snips are amazing. I think they're only about £9. I want to say £9.50, something like that. Great value. Okay, let's start layering. I think we've got everything we need. Let's start with the polo, which is quite even. That's the only thing you have to be careful when you're cutting, is that you get that central die actually central. Otherwise it looks a bit skew-if, which could be the look you want. You may want it to look like wider on one side. There is a word for that, but I don't know what it is. But obviously you would need a much smaller circle to do that. Now you're thinking, what is she on about? And I can't explain because I haven't got another one cut. Next time. Okay, let's take some dimensionals. I think I need another coffee. And I like to put 3 on a circle to kind of balance it out. And we'll pop that one down here. Oh, the joy of the gold. Which one's better? It won't matter because it's on white. Can you see I'm a bit off there, but it really doesn't matter because it's going to be hidden. This time I am going to pop Tombow down at the bottom just to anchor it. And we'll pop, oh, it's right in the way of where I want it to be. Let's just snip the end off. I've got a dimensional right where I wanted it to be coming out. Like that. See those splats? Very gentle. Are you off, Belle? I just see someone saying bye. You're heading out. Molly's been howling at you for long enough. Oh, bless her. Enjoy your walk. I can say the word because Alfie's not here. We'll probably go out later, maybe this evening. So have fun, and I'll be catching up with you later anyway, Belle. Right, let's bring these flowers in. Thank you for stopping by. It's lovely having you guys. It's like my weekly bucket fill-in time today with my crafting. I need to try and get in. What's going on with my lid? I think I've squashed my putty right in That's it. Needed twizzling back in. Yeah, I need to try and get myself some more dates in the diary for some events here. I was trying to fit it in around everything else that's going on. Oh, I'm seeing the word nail varnish. Nail varnish removes... Oh, nail varnish remover helps to remove sticky bits. That's another good one, yes. Great tip, Kay, thank you. We'll alternate with a sweet sorbet and a flirty flamingo. What a fabulous name. And put a couple down here. Don't know if that's enough glue under that one. We shall see. If it falls off, then I need to add more. Then the good old metallic pearls in the centres. Just finishes them off. You could put anything in the middle of these flowers, any embellishments you've got. Smaller would look better. Got some lovely new ones coming in the catalogue, which is exciting. But it's always good to use up the old ones too. Have a bit of twine. I'm going to do a longer bow. Let's try and probably making this curlier. Let's do a larger one this time. It is tricky tying with this. It kind of doesn't want to stay together. It likes to sort of come undone. Pull it really tight. And it's got a bit of a mind of its own, like the tails. That wasn't very big. It's not as big as I wanted it, but we're just going to go with it. Tails always like to be the same length. It'll probably sit better that way. Let's just give these tails, I'm going to hold on to these two loops, pinch in the middle and just give those two tails a tug just to encourage them in the direction I want them. Manipulate that thread. Pop that one down there. Oh, I've got cramp in my little toe. It's because I'm stooping. It's definitely not good. I've spoken to you often about my position when I'm filming like this. Not good for the back. My kitchen island that I've got behind me would work much better, but the backdrop isn't amazing because you'd be looking out of the window. So, at the fields, and then we'll finish with a teeny weeny. I've squidged out some extra putty now. Teeny weeny butterfly. And then we'll just call it done. Okay, what have you done? You've caved in and you've altered the beautiful shapes. Oh, honey, you will not regret that decision, honestly. I just love them. I think they're fab. So slightly larger bow on the one I did before. But I love it. I love this colour combo. It's really fresh. I probably would only use red in the winter, like for Christmas projects, apart from obviously the strawberries, which I will add are still available at the moment, and they're something like £8.50, I think. Ridiculous price. So I'm really, really pleased with these. This colour combo is just like bringing me lots of joy at the moment. I'm really enjoying using it. So I've created loads of things with them already for my catalogue launch. Bits and bobs. So remember the tip about the dies and stamping. So stamp like a row of flowers in the same direction as you've got your little dot on, and then put a dot on your die and cut them out all in one go. So much quicker, so much quicker. I tend to like just chop loads, stamp loads and then chop and then have them sitting. Can you see I've progressed for the teacups for a larger bowl than my regular goo pot, just because I was running out of space in a goo pot. So I've got a bigger bowl, which is dangerous because I'll just sit there stamping and die cutting. So, but then when I need to make a card, I can just go to my little pot, pull out some elements, think, yep, put those together and make a really quick card. So thank you for stopping by. It's been lovely chatting with you. It's been lovely to have you, Lisa. Lovely to chat with you. Kate, oh, you're just coming in. You can catch from the replay, my lovely. Thank you for your lovely comments. I've really enjoyed creating these today. Love a bit of embossing. Love a bit of gold thrown in. Just like adds that extra special finish, doesn't it? So please take care, everybody. I'll be back with you very, very soon. Remember, last chance lists only available until the 2nd, which I don't even know what day that is. What are we today? 25th? My brain won't work it out. Anyway, it's not long. It's about a week, isn't it? So yeah, take care on your travels. Enjoy this beautiful weather and stay safe, and I will catch up with you all very soon. So thank you, Mary. Thank you, Annette. And thank you, Kane. You all take care too as well. So bye for now.